in this corner. That's us. That's Mike. And this is what everybody else is.
Okay, hello everyone. Thanks for joining us today for the latest in our series of webinars, our Learning at Lunch webinar series. Today we have the ladies from the A. Harry Moore School will be talking to us about robotics for students with significant disabilities. My name is Mike Murata. I am the director of the Assistive Technology Advocacy Center at Disability Rights New Jersey. So welcome. Glad you're joining us today. Just a little housekeeping. As you come in to the webinar room, your video has been turned off. Your microphone may be on. So what I'll do is as people come on, I will make sure to mute you so that we don't get any background noise as we go through. We are recording the session, so you can refer back to it later. We will post that up to our ATAC YouTube channel, and I will send the link out in a follow-up email for everyone to get to. We have a chat button on the toolbar, so if you have some questions or you want to ask something of the presenters, you can do that either through typing it in the chat, or you can turn your microphone on. And I was speaking to the ladies before, and we'll have some time throughout the webinar where we'll stop and we'll ask questions. So we can do that either through typing, or we can have you turn your microphones on and you can actually be part of the conversation. So we'll do that as well. And please share. It makes for a great conversation if we have this back and forth and anything at all. Questions, comments, ideas, things that you've done with this technology to support students. We'd love to hear anything. So please be part of the show here. All right, I didn't have many things to go for, and then we'll get everybody started. At the end of the webinar, if you could go to this link on the screen, which is bit.ly/ATDemoSurvey, and fill out our survey about the webinar today, and we will also send you a certificate of attendance so you have it. And I'll put that web address up at the end of the webinar also. But I figured I'd hit you with it now so you had it, and then we can go back to it in the end as well. bit.ly/ATDemoSurvey. Our next upcoming webinar in this series will happen on July 13th, and that will be an hour-long webinar talking about the built-in accessibility features of our mobile devices, our Apple devices, our Android devices. And that will be me. I will be leading that webinar, so hopefully you'll join me. In your follow-up email that you receive from this webinar, I'll have the link for the next webinar in it as well to sign up. So if you're interested, I hope you'll join us that day. And one last thing before we let everyone start in with the program for today. We have our Assistive Technology Summit coming in September. So I'm hoping that people will register and join us for that program. It will be on Tuesday, September 19th. We'll be at the Mercer Community College Conference Center. And that will be a day-long assistive technology conference with various concurrent sessions throughout the day. So we'll have different speakers coming in to talk about different topics. The registration is open, and there is a link there. It is also at bit.ly/NJATS17. And we still have a couple spots open if anybody wants to present. We'd be happy to have you. And the more people that present, the less things I have to present. So I'm all for that too. That's even better. I'd like to hear from other people. So if you're interested, you can get there at bit.ly/ATSummit17. We'll get you to the call for papers. All right, that's enough from me. What we're going to do is I will turn it over to the ladies. I will stop sharing my screen. I will let them share theirs, and they can take over. All right, it's all yours, guys. Perfect. There it is.
Hello, everybody. My name is Stephanie Talalai, and I am the technology coordinator for the A. Harry Moore School in Jersey City, New Jersey. We are a school for children ages 3 to 21 who all have multiple low-incidence disabilities. Today, I'm joined with my two colleagues, Patricia Holzman and Wendy Thompson, and we would like to just give you an overview of how we use different types of robotics in our program here at A. Harry Moore. And there's pictures of us. We are also part of New Jersey City University, our school, and we are doctoral candidates in the doctoral program for educational technology leadership. And we are also all officers for an organization called NJCART. If you don't know what NJCART is, we are a nonprofit organization that promotes assistive technology. We have a listserv, and if you see there at the bottom, that is my NJCU email address. So if you would like to join the listserv, if you have a question about assistive technology, you can post it to our listserv, and one of our members would get back to you fairly quickly with a response to your question. There's also more information that can be found about our organization at njcart.net. Okay, so I'm just going to show you a little video about our setting. You guys want to introduce them? Sure, I probably should have done that. Sorry about that.
Hi, I'm Wendy Thompson, and I'm a classroom teacher of students in 4th through 6th grade, self-contained classroom, and we do a lot of enrichment activities using robotics. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Patricia Holzman. I'm also a teacher at the A. Harry Moore School. Currently, I teach a science and math enrichment program where I take complex science and math topics and try to bring them to a level that our students can understand, which actually lends itself to the use of a lot of assistive technology and robotics.
So we have a little video here. It's just a quick little overview of the way we use robotics in A. Harry Moore. And then here's just a little information we got from code.org that just gives some of the statistics about computer science and how important it is for us to teach our students some of the coding and computer science applications that they're going to need in the future, because there are going to be so many jobs available for students in the computer science field.
Okay, one of the forms of robotics that we use quite frequently here at A. Harry Moore is the Spiro robot series. We use Spiro BB-8, the Spark series, and they're all used to do science enrichment, math enrichment, language arts enrichment. We build activities with our students in all the different areas of, in all of the different content areas. We found that using Spiro for activities with coding or just to have students develop concepts and explore has been a really interesting way to get them to buy into activities that were previously really difficult for them to understand, because they get really excited about the prospect of using the robots. They're more often willing to sit for longer periods of time and work through the difficult parts to get to the part that they consider just fun. What we're going to show you now is one of example of the activities that I used in class using the Spiro Robotics in an ELA activity. It was student produced, student generated, students did all of the work, and it was something that we found to be really exciting, and so much so that the kids wanted to do a different activity, which we'll show you next, that was built on the same Spiro activity from now.
All right, I'll play the video.
One day, Abby was asleep and suddenly she woke up and realized she was late for school. Hey, wait. Abby rushes to the bathroom. Oh my gosh, I'm late for school. What should I wear? Oh, I know, I'll wear my yellow shirt. Okay, now I'm ready for school. Oh no, my bus. I'm taking shortcuts. I'm stuck. Meanwhile, in class, the teacher was taking attendance.
Okay, class, time for attendance. Arvin? Camilla? Edwin?
Here.
Autumn?
Here.
Elias?
Here.
Abby? Abby? She's supposed to be in school. Has anyone seen Abby?
Nope. Help! Help! Here comes the giant hand.
Where is she? I'm here.
This activity was a really nice way for students to work on the language arts skills for parts of a story that we had started earlier in the school year. And by doing this, I got to use the students' high points and low points skill-wise to have them work collaboratively to complete the activity. And they had such a good time doing it. It's something that they still talk about and they continue to ask to do more. It's a way of intertwining different educational technology using the robotics and the green screen and putting it all together in an iMovie. The kids learn the skills for all three different activities and come up with one project. So it was something that worked really well and has been a steady part of our classroom instruction. And it all started because they wanted to do something new with the robot. Okay. We started in the spring of that same year with the students continuing to ask about what can we do next. And our school is in the Innovate New Jersey Cohort 2 school. And we have a partnership with Tom Rivers School in South Jersey. So our school in Tom's River decided to share the use of technology. And my students decided that they wanted to share how to use robotics and how they use robotics in school. So they built this presentation using the Spiro robot and the green screen, and again, iMovie, to share with their friends in Toms River.
My name is Abby. Today's the day I'm visiting my friends in Toms River. I'm so excited. Turn down. Keep going, guys. Keep going. I don't want to be late. I don't want to pass. The 137 goes to Toms River. I'll have to ask the bus driver to be sure. Excuse me, does this bus go to Toms River? It sure does. Take a seat. Great, thanks. Oh, window seat. Oh boy. Yeah.
Welcome to our school, Abby. We've been expecting you.
We use that activity to really focus on life skills. Students had to do the research on how to travel. They had to do a lot of the activities themselves to find bus routes. It was a really good transition type activity for students as they age and start looking at ways to move and get around the community on their own. So these two activities are just one example of how we're using robotics throughout our building.
This next example that we're going to show you uses a different type of robotics. These are the Autobots, and this video was produced by another teacher in our cohort, and she used this activity to have her students that she does reading intervention with to as a way for them to express their understanding of the story, and another way for them to retell the story. And they can paraphrase, and here's the core curricular content standard that, that the activity went along with.
The Three Little Pigs, retold by Eric, Ariana, John, and Ozzy.
Mama Pig tells her 3 pigs to leave. The first pig makes his house out of straw. The second little pig makes his house out of sticks. Then the third little pig makes his house out of something hard. The third little pig makes his house out of bricks. Then the big bad wolf comes by and destroys the straw house. Then the first little pig wants the second little pig's house made out of sticks. The wolf comes by and tries to blow their house down. The first little pig and the second little pig go to the brick house where the third little pig lives. The wolf tries to blow the brick house over and over again, but he can't. The wolf gives up trying to blow the brick house down. Then the wolf goes down the chimney, but there was hot boiling water. Then the wolf fell in the pot. Then the wolf never went back to the pigs. Then the pigs ate the soup. They lived happily ever after.
The end.
So you can see how if you have a student in your class who may have difficulty writing out the assignment, this just gives them another way so that they can demonstrate that they do have an understanding of what the story was about and a different way to express that understanding.
All right. Robotics definitely lends itself to mathematics and due to the fact that some of these robotics can be simply coded by the students, that there's a quick, tiny smidgen video step that you can show right there. If you blink, you will miss it. It's going to play. That took some coding for the students to do, but what it lends itself to is a lot of collaboration, a lot of intense focus, which they sometimes have difficulty with, and problem solving. So the steps that were incorporated in that actually help them towards a lot of other things that they might do throughout the day. Deciding all the steps they needed to code to get the Sparrow to actually make a right turn. The picture on the bottom is at them actually coding. And then that's it, right? And that's the code on the right. So that's all the steps that they had to do to actually get that one thing. Since then, the students have had more practice and have done a little bit more complicated applications. This video is also using robotics as it moves through the human body.
Esophagus takes you to the stomach.
Liver makes digestive juices. Stomach squeezes pancreas makes digestive juices. Small intestine continue to digest and absorbs nutrients. Large intestine collects waste and reabsorbs extra water.
Now that can be modified to meet the needs of your students. I've done a similar activity where I used the Autobots and we did as water moves through plants. So there's a lot that you can do there. And the picture on the top, which I don't have a video for, is an archaeological dig. So students were using the Sparrow to move around an area to uncover dinosaur bones, which they later put together. So a lot of these things are focused on scientific or math topics that for students with special needs might not be able to focus for a significant amount of time to get the amount of information that you would like them to get. But when you add robotics, their interest definitely lengthens.
Oops. Sorry about that. So this activity here, our art teacher also was very into the use of robotics. She had all the seniors in the school that were graduating that year all produce what she called a senior canvas. So some of the students were able to hold the paintbrush and actually, create the paintings using a brush, but we also had students who, because they were unable to actually hold the paintbrush, this was just another way for them to be engaged in the same activity. So this student was able to pick out the colors of paint that he wanted. They dipped the Sparrow in the paint. The paint, it's hard to see from the picture, but it has like a little knobbly cover over it, so it gives the picture a texture. And so he was able to participate on his own without any assistance, except for you know, the dipping of the paint, create the canvas, and we put it in a box there so it didn't get all over the table, but that gave him the same experience that the rest of the kids were getting, and he was able to create the project all on his own. And this is just some literature about how robotics can be used for engagement with kids with disabilities. All right, so now we're going to kind of tell you a little bit about the robotics that we have. So the first one that we're going to show you, actually the second one, is the Autobot. So I'm going to go back just really quickly to the Sphero information just to tell you a little bit about it. So here you can see we put the price points up there. The prices may or may not change. Some of these prices you can get on Amazon. Sometimes Amazon holds some sales, so you might be able to get them a little bit cheaper. But you can see that they're basically reasonably priced. Sphero.com/education is Sphero's education website where you can get all the information about how to purchase them and the different kinds of activities that you can do with them. And then there's a Sphero Lightning Lab. So if you go to spark.sphero.com, this is a place where there's a lot of collaboration and sharing. So teachers who have created different lessons, they put them up on this website. It's free to join, and you can look through their lessons by topic. You can look by core curriculum content standard. You can look by specific robot. So if you want any more information specifically on lessons for using the Sphero, you can go to those two websites. The Autobot, the same thing. There are actually a couple iterations of the Autobot. So this was the first iteration. It's the Autobot 1.0. It's probably even cheaper than this now. And then there's the Autobot 2.0, and the difference is that this one can do what they call static coding, which is we draw a line on a piece of paper and it will follow the lines on the paper, and the other one can do what they call flash coding. And when we're doing our slides, I'm going to go live and show you kind of the robots that we have on the table here and how they work. And now there's even another one called the Evo, and that one has a application that from the iPad that you can use with it. And again, Blockly, this is a block coding on a website. If you can do it from your computer screen, you can do it from an iPad, you can do it from an iPhone, you can do it from an Android phone. And this, you can create the block coding and you can actually load the codes into the Autobot for them to follow the code. And then again, Autobot also has a website. You can see autobot.com, STEM education. And this is, again, another place where you can find not only lesson plans that you can use with your students, but there's actually a really good professional development PDF on there where you can print it out, and if you are going to be the expert, you can do a professional development day with your teachers, and it gives them the step-by-step directions on how to use the Autobot. So that's a really good web resource. One of the other ones we use, this is more for our younger students, and it's called the B-Bot. So here's some information about the B-Bot, and we'll show you that in a couple minutes. And then this other one is also for some of our younger students called the Codapillar, and we have that on the table here. So we are going to show you a little bit about how some of these robotics work. Does anybody have any questions out there? I'm not really sure if we have questions or not, Mike.
Yeah, I don't see any yet. I always like watching your videos. I'm sitting here just kind of staring away at them and loving the idea of using the robots as an extension of how the students would interact with a lesson. And when it's the science and the math and all those pieces where the robots themselves were a tool to demonstrate the students' knowledge. So it's less about the robot itself and is more about using it as a tool for them to show what they know, which is so cool. I love the video. I could watch those videos all day.
Thanks. So here's a little information if anybody's interested in getting their doctorate in educational leadership, and there's a a link here to more information about the EdTech program at NJCU. So I am going to, all right, I want to go to my video, so my live video. So do I do stop share?
Yes, stop share. There you go. Now we see you.
Okay, cool. Okay, hi everybody, I'm Stephanie.
Wendy.
Patricia?
So the first one we want to show you is the Sphero. So let's see, I'm gonna take my webcam down and so I can get up and personal with you here. Sorry for. Okay, you see it? So that's a Sphero. And the Sphero hooks up to an app on an iPad. So we have our iPad over here. I think it's this one. So the basic app is Sphero. Now we had them connected, but sometimes
You wait a while, they wind up disconnecting. If you are not using it for a little while, they will disconnect. So it is searching for it right now. No, that's going to be
maybe
the
it's this one.
timer.
Never mind, I was wrong.
All right.
Sphero detected. Initializing connection.
And that's what the app looks like. Okay. So this is basically the Drive app. Wait, where'd it go?
And even though there is a learning curve with this and it might be difficult to operate for adults, it seems easier for our students.
Yeah, they pick it up way more
Yeah.
quickly than we do.
As you see, this one's going to go off the table any minute. Oh, she saved it. So on the app, you can slow it down or speed it up. There are a few other things that students can learn to do with it, and there is the ability to code. So they could not only just work it this way, but put the code in and send it off on its way by one click.
One of the features that the kids really like is the fact that you can change the color. So when you're working with kids, excuse me, when you're working with kids who are younger and you're doing skills like color recognition or following directions, and you're asking them to follow the blue Sphero to the door, and then asking them math related things like what direction did you take? How many steps? What type of turn would you make to get the Sphero to the door? There are so many different ways you can interact using the robotics and develop it into a lesson with students. And the students take the time to figure it out because they want to be the person in control. It's all about control. We've learned that over the time that we've been working with the robotics in our kids.
Yeah, one of our kindergarten teachers, she's really creative with it. So she actually would take her sight words for the day or her numbers for the day and put them all over the floor, and then ask the students to pick up the remote control in the Sphero, and she'd say, okay, what's 1 + 1? And they would have to drive it to the number 2 on the floor, or just simple number identification. You know, drive it to the number 1, drive it to the number 2. If they were working on their sight words for the day, drive it to the word the or the word cat. So that was another way for them to be able to, you know, just demonstrate that they have the knowledge and in a different way. So that is Sphero. And then Sphero also does have a coding, you know, capability to it. So you really can use it for all grade levels,
Yes.
not just for the younger grades.
Yes.
Our older students, you know, do learn the basics of coding, so they can do simple block coding to get it to go forward and backward. And even for our students with even the more severe disabilities, just getting them to move their head or reach out or even use their eyes to follow the Sphero is actually a really big accomplishment for some of them who, sometimes we're not sure that they can, if they can see or if they're engaged or, so if we see a student following the light of the Sphero across the classroom, like we're jumping for joy because we know that they're actually seeing it and they're getting it and they're engaged in some way. And that's like one of our goals for the
It's
the
also
class.
helped with students who have or fear or difficulty navigating throughout the classroom or navigating throughout the hallways. Students will tend to get up if they can and follow a robotics, instead of just sitting there because they're, our students, a lot of them have significant disabilities, and that as a goal is to get them to navigate their environment.
Okay, so the other one you guys want to take over the camera, I can show the Azo. I got it. Okay, so these little guys here are Autobots. And you can see that they're really tiny. There's one in the palm of my hand, so you can kind of get like a perspective of how big they are. And again, if you're starting with your very basic, your younger children, the kids that are learning, just how to hold a pen, like our occupational therapists like this because they can, work on handwriting, work on grip. And if you just draw a line, any kind of line, it could even be a curvy line. And the Autobot has a little button on the side, it turns him on. You can see his little light. And then you'll see, one of the things you got to remember with these babies is that you have to make a nice thick line. And then you'll also, I don't know if you can see it from the video, but since I'm using a green marker, the light on the top of the Autobot will turn green. So if I switch to a nice red marker, you'll see, I don't know if you can see it, but the top of the light on there turned red. So again, color recognition, basic handwriting. We want the student to, maybe you're working on the letter C. You can draw the C and then have the robot follow the C around to reinforce the letter C. So this is, for your younger students, it's really good. Then there also is a coding component to it. So you don't have to use the iPad, you can do color coding. And if you can see, if you take the marker and you draw this on the paper, see a black line, a blue, a black, a red, and a black. If you put the Autobot over it, it will read the code, and then it's supposed to, in a perfect great world, make a left turn. So let's see. So read the code, and then let's see if we can make a left turn. And there we go, there was a left turn. Now he has nothing else to follow, but he will, if you notice it, he will search around until he finds something else to follow. So these will also do what they call block coding. So again, I think I mentioned before that you can go to any device, you can go to an iPad, you can go to your computer, you go to ozoblockly.com, and you will see this simple block coding here. So it comes with 4 different levels. I think they're working on the 5th level. So you see the levels there? So for your first level, you're getting just basic block codes. So you can see there's no words there, so it's just numbers and pictures. So this would be like move to the right one. This would be move fast, so you're just going to put the block codes together. And if you've ever gone to code.org and done the coding there, it's basically the same type. You can change the light, so you can make the light turn blue. And then you can have it delay for a couple seconds and then move again. And then as the kids get older, you can see that now they're incorporating words in here. And then this is level 2, so you're incorporating words in here. And it becomes a little bit more complex or challenging. Level 3, you even get more in here. So now we're talking about rotation. We're talking about navigation. We're talking about timing, and we're have a little bit of logic in there. So a little bit of if-then logic. And then, you know, it gets harder and harder. So you can see how this very small little robot, you can go from, you know, kindergarten, first grade skills, all the way up to more complex high school skills and coding. And then when you're done with this, let me go back here. So basically you have your code here, you click load, and then you'll see the flashing. If you hold the Autobot up to the flashing light, the code actually gets flashed into the bottom here. So that sensor on the bottom can either read the lines that you've written on the paper, or it can read the codes that are getting flashed into the bottom of the Autobot. So that's the Autobot. Does anybody have any questions about any robots you saw so far? Nope.
No, I don't see any questions yet.
Okay.
Keep showing us more.
All right. You want to do?
All right. Let me turn it on. All right. This is Codapillar, and this obviously is for our younger students, but it's very, very simple coding. So you are, you attach each piece, and it actually has a code on it. So whether it's a turn, whether it's to make sound or to go straight, you so you can provide the students with a mission where they have to get Codapillar to a certain spot. It does have some discs that it comes with it, but it's easy to make up your own kind of things. So you could use these if you want, but you attach. Here's a turn. So it read that, it's reading that. I didn't tell it to go, but it has a mind of its own. I did not press the button. At least I don't think I did. All right. This is actually a Fisher Price item, so everyone is getting into the world of code. So that one, that time it just had 3 codes on it, but I think it comes with 12 or 10.
No, I don't remember.
Well, it comes with somewhere around that number, and I think you can actually add a few more, like
there's like booster packs that will do like a complete 360-degree turn. I think there's another one for sound. So we actually have a whole bunch of them here.
Yeah, so there's different turns, there's sound, and there's lights, and going forward. So you can actually use all of these at the same time, so the students can maneuver around the room within a greater space. All right?
Okay, the next one we have is our little B-Bot here. So B-Bot is also, it teaches the students about the very, very basics of coding. So again, you can use with your younger classes, or in our school, we use it with some of the older classes. So this is the actual robot. And then we did buy, through the company, this mat. And they charged, I don't know, like $30 or $40 for the mat. But what we found is that if you just take a big piece of cardboard or something, you can actually draw this mat on your own, because I think they were like 3x3 squares. And then you can put whatever you want into these squares. So you can do your sight words, you can do your numbers that you're working on. You can do this pictures of the students, or you can say, okay, well, I'm coded to go find this friend or this friend or this friend. And so basically what you do is you have your code for forward, for a left turn, for a right turn, and for backward, okay? So say we said, okay, why don't we get to the green circle over here? So what we're gonna do is we have the student say, okay, how many forward do we have to go? And you count 1, 2. So you just hit the forward 2 times. And then they need to go here, so they need to make a turn to the left. So we're gonna make a left turn. And what this really does is just rotate the B-bot in its spot. And then it's still gonna have to go 1 more space here. We're gonna give it 1 more forward, and then you hit the go. And then it's done. So then when you want the next one, you can just hit the little clear button and give it to the next student and do the activity again. So, so this is a really cute robot for our younger kids. And again, some of our staff have been very, very ingenious. I've seen them like put the kids' street names out there and had them code it to your street. So they were teaching them their address, sight words. So our staff is very ingenious, and they do really come up with some really great ideas and lessons on how to use these robotics, in their lessons.
Hey, Stephanie, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
With that pad that you guys have, with that pad that you just pulled out, do the shapes and the colors matter? No. I know you said you could put your own pictures on it, but do the colors matter?
No. Nope.
Oh, okay. So the robot's just seeing that there's something there.
Right. So basically, 1 forward arrow will be like 1, 3-inch move. So you don't even actually need to put it on the mat. If you want to do 3 forward, make a left, 3 forward, and go, it's still going to go no matter what it's on.
Okay.
So unlike the Autobots, it's not seeing what's on the ground at all, what it's following at all.
It's really
following the code that's inside the machine.
Right. So it's really just the distance. It's giving it chunks of those inches each time you would push the button.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So you can even take Legos or blocks or anything and build your own kind of maze and have the students navigate or do the code to navigate through the maze.
Yeah, which is really nice because that becomes a really great math activity too.
I've done that with the...
Yeah, I mean, we've even had a carnival here where we, Trish created an alligator, and we had the Sphero go up the ramp into the alligator's mouth, and Wendy created an entire maze made out of pool noodles, so the kids had to navigate the Sphero through the pool noodles to get to the end to get a prize. We've had a kindergarten teacher use the Codapillar, and they were coding the message, it was like, I love coding or something like that. And then the other one we had during the carnival was this little guy, and his name is Dash. Hey. So again, Dash comes with an app, so you can change his, do the basics. You can move him forward, you can move him backward, you can change his colors. Here's Dash.
One of the nice things about using Dash is, as you can see, Dash responds to sound. So some of our kids who are a little hesitant, when you're having issues trying to get them to speak louder in class or speak up, just putting the Dash out and saying, okay, everyone in the room has to be quiet right now, and then giving that person the permission to make a noise, and then watching their reaction when Dash turns to them or tries to find them. It gets them excited and engaged in the activity, and they're actually using that sound or using their sound more without you having to prompt them, because they want to get the robot to move. So there's so many different ways that you can use some of these robots in your setting with students with significant disabilities.
Yeah, it even comes with some pre-recorded sounds. So if you're working on animal sounds, you have an elephant and the cow. You can you can, control his lights. You can control the lights in his eyes. I don't know if you could see the lights in his eyes. You can control the lights in his eyes. You can pick a color for his ears. And this little front light here. So again, just the basics of it. So if you just wanted to use it for a way for the students to, demonstrate knowledge, again, you can use it the same way you did with the Bbots or the Spheros. They can manipulate the robot to go around the room to demonstrate a skill. And then it also has another app that is a block coding app. And then when we did our, you see it? I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it, Mike? Or is it?
It's white.
It's like a white screen, yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
It's loading.
There we go. Now I can see it.
So you can see kind of like the block coding app. So it does come with a couple of accessories. This one accessory right here is like a little launcher. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to go get he's waiting for me. So you see his little launcher in the back. So we can put a ball in there. And then we have a code here, and I'm going to actually just delete this whole entire thing. So you can see how more students were really playing with the so basically if you say when you push start, right, we're going to, here's the accessory, we're going to launch it with so much power, right?
So if you're doing a class activity on force and motion, and
hey. And sometimes he has a little mind of his own.
He has a
over there.
big mind of his own. So, and the kids think it's hilarious when he just moves around when you're trying to do an activity and you're trying to get yourself set up and the robot just is playing. So we use it as a way to talk about weight and getting kids to understand patience and transition from one activity to the next. We can do it using the Dash. Dash needs to wait. He has to learn to wait. Just like we're waiting, Dash needs to wait. And I find it funny sometimes the kids will go, wait, Dash, it's not your turn yet. So there are different like life lessons that you can teach along with the robotics.
All right, so let's see if we can get them launched.
So Stephanie just built a quick code.
So basically when we press start, we're going to launch at, I put it at 100%, so we'll go really flying. So let's see. So it was great. At the day of the carnival, we set up a little basketball hoop and Dash on the table. And we had all the classes come up and try to code dash to actually make a basket into the basketball hoop, and it was one of the most popular activities that day because they were all, getting a basket is, of course, everybody's cheering and going crazy if anybody got a basket. So we made it a really great day. So it was our digital learning activity, learning day activity. We had a whole robotics demonstration at carnival in our gym, and we had a great day. So this is the different ways that we actually incorporate all the different kinds of robotics into our program.
And doing special activities is one way to introduce the use of the robotics to everyone throughout the building, so that people who aren't as familiar or comfortable with using tech get to see how it can be introduced in the classroom, how it can be beneficial to your students. So when you can get buy-in from a few teachers on how it's used, and they get to showcase what they're doing with it to others, then you can build more excitement within your building to get more people involved and engaged.
Yep. So that's basically everything we have. If anybody has any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
That was great. Thank you. We'll see if anybody has a question. I have one, but I'm going to save it. That was like a warning. That was a warning. I have something coming, but I'm not ready yet. All right, I'll drop mine up. Wait, here comes a question in the chat window. Kathy asks, can you summarize the names of the robots? So could you maybe hold each one up and give us its name?
Absolutely.
Sure. All right, that's Bebot. And that was, early education, like preschool, kindergarten, first grade, second grade.
Dash. Sphero, yeah, okay. This is the Caterpillar, and right now it has 3 of the codes in it. You can see it's basically just a USB to USB to get them all in, and they're all like individual sections. So they go in and out really easy. Nice little OT scale to hand-eye coordination to get those little pieces in there. They're pretty adorable. See that? Sphero? Sphero. Okay, and these are the little Autobots.
And those are the ones we primarily use here. There are some others that we've been trying out, but these are the ones that we've found to be the most successful.
Wendy, that takes me to my question, actually, which my question was, what's next? What's the plan moving forward?
Well, what we've been trying and what we've been building on is using.
This is the Lego
We Do.
We Do. So we were kind of experimenting with this little guy.
So it's an opportunity for students to use fine motor to build. Then we go online and do coding. And then we get a plug and play kind of thing. And we can do trial and error. It's a great project-based activity, and it can be a long-term kind of thing. So it's not as immediate as what we use the Sphero or the Dash or any of those. This is more for students who we're trying to teach or help them learn that everything is not immediate. So it's a step type of build, then you go from stage to stage. And it's a little more difficult concept for our kids, so it's taking them a little longer to grasp on how you go from the steps of building to coding to getting that output. Because with kids, what they want is the output. So it's fun once they see it in action, but it's taking a little longer for them to get on board with the actual step-by-step process. But this is where we're heading.
I mean, this one even had sensors in here, so as he had his mouth open and you put your hand or a piece of paper or whatever, his mouth clamped down on it. So just the kids, like, it was funny because we were just seeing how many kids could actually put their hand in and pull their hand out before the thing clamped down on their hands, just to test to see, what's my response time.
And the kids loved it once we had it built and we were doing the actual don't get caught by the gator game. And I actually took a picture of one of the kids doing it and put it up on my Seesaw account. And the parent went, "Oh my God, my child's being eaten by the gator." and we had a ball laughing about it.
And really, I think some of the adults in the class had more time, had a better time building this little alligator than the students, because the students were trying to get in there and the adults were like, "Hey,
no, that's my part. That's my part." This summer, we're planning on doing maze building with Lego walls, and then we're gonna try and run something through it.
Yes, code something
to go through the maze. So that's where we're heading. Trying to get the kids to do more intensive coding, to understand the concepts a little more, to engage more in different activities, and to branch out into different skills. Finding out the joy I find in robotics is that there is really only what your imagination comes up with that stops you from how you use it. So that's where I'm headed next.
That's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's exciting. I can't wait to see how you guys incorporate those in. Any other questions from the group? I know that we're a couple minutes beyond 1 o'clock. Thank you everybody for hanging in there with us. I think that was really outstanding. I enjoyed that. Thank you, ladies. That was fun.
You're welcome.
No problem.
Let me jump over to the last couple screens, and I'll just share the survey again on our way out in case anybody didn't get the address before. So if you'd like a certificate of attendance and you want to tell us how the webinar was today, we would love to hear that. I love to hear from people about what they think about the webinars we do and then potential topics moving forward. So please fill out the survey. It's at bit.ly/ATDemoSurvey. And we'll get you a certificate out probably within a week. It doesn't happen automatically, so don't expect it to auto-generate it. We go through it and we send them out from the office. But I don't see any other questions, so I guess with that, I'll say to everybody, thank you so much for your time today. The ladies have their contact information in the slides, and when we send the link to the recording out, everybody will be able to access it. So again, thank you, and we look forward to seeing you at one of our future webinars. So thanks very much, everybody. Have a good day.